welcome to Delegate Your Way to Success podcast. Today I am with Ali Saeed from Temporal LLC. How are you doing, Ali?
All right, thank you.
I mean, it's awesome that, you can be with me today on the podcast. Like, I want to learn more about, graphics and motion designs and how it can be leveraged through user experience. And yeah, so I studied computer science back in college, and I have um, experience in web design, and I'm familiar with user interface and user experience, but I'm pretty sure a lot of our audience, our listeners right now do not know, much about that. So can you tell us, what is UI, what is UX, and what are the differences and how it can benefit, a business owner if they have those on, their website?
Sure. So UI is basically the visual screen, the interface of the screen. Whenever you look at an app, you're looking at a visual design, whether that's buttons or whatever you're seeing on the screen. The screen is the user interface. And that definition can, it can be applied to more things like the keyboard and the mouse. But for the purpose of this conversation, the the user interface is simply the screen and what you see on the screen. Like if it's on Instagram, it's the buttons, it's the images, it's everything you're seeing on screen. It's just the visual design. The user experience is more difficult to explain, but the way I explain it is user friendliness and the process of designing user friendliness.
Mm-hmm.
Stands for user experience. So whenever an app is confusing, it's got bad user experience.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the simplest way that, doesn't do the definition justice, but I think that it's a good way of starting the conversation.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I would explain it the way you did. So what do you think is gonna happen? Like, if, for instance, somebody owns like a very big e-commerce business online, and the UI and the UX is not good. So what do you think can happen?
Right. So many things can happen. If the UI is not good and the UX is good, you lose credibility and it makes the app seem unreliable and untrustworthy. But if the UI and the UX is bad, you're going to lose money. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you're going to lose money both ways. But if your UX is bad, it's a like a red alert situation. Like you put a lot of money into building the app and you're hoping that the app will generate enough revenue so that it's profitable. If you put $1,000 into an app, which would be the cheapest app ever made, but if you put $1,000 into an app and then you've got bad user experience and you make no sales, you just lost $1,000 for a fancy
Mm-hmm.
looking
Yeah.
piece of software. So user experience is about return on investment. I mean that it's about depending on what your user and your business goals are, the UX will be tailored to that. So I mean, yeah, bad UX UX is the biggest deal when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And having a good user experience can help your business. How much more if you have motion into it, right? So if you add motion to your user experience. So what do you think are the top three benefits of adding or leveraging motion to improve user experience?
Yeah. So, and I will come back to the e-commerce and I can discuss
Sure. Yeah.
motion can enhance that. But the three most important things I would say is, well, motion can remove uncertainty, it can hide latency, and it can improve navigation. So if you want to remove uncertainty, then you'll have gesture confirmation throughout the entire app. So you want the idea that when the user interacts with the application, they want confirmation that the app is registering their input. So if I, for example, hit the button, I want the button to react so that I know that the machine registered my input.
Hey, busy entrepreneur. My name is Christy Yoder, founder of Smart VAs, a virtual assistant agency. We have helped so many busy entrepreneurs get their time and freedom back while still growing their businesses. Now, I have a very important question for you. Yes, you. Do you feel like you don't have time to do everything in your business and couldn't spend time with your friends and family? That's because there's a 100% chance that you are not delegating. Alright, in my experience, 7 out of 10 entrepreneurs are wasting time and money because they do everything alone and they do not know how to delegate effectively. And if you think you're good because you're so used to doing things alone and working in your business, you're the most likely candidate to be losing more time, freedom, and money. But don't worry, because we have a solution for you. We prepared a free ebook for busy entrepreneurs like you who wants to experience more freedom and flexibility by mastering the art of delegation. Smart Delegation, a Fresh Take is an ebook we've put together with you in mind. It's a quick and easy read that packs a punch. It includes tools to assist you, strategies to empower you, and fresh perspectives to equip you, making the most out of such a simple key strategy, which is delegation. Download your free copy now at smartvas.online or click the link in the description below. Also, please consider supporting our channel by subscribing to it and learn more practical tips on how to grow your business without killing yourself. Yeah.
Hiding latency would be, if there's a delay in the server communication, if there's anything, delayed in the user experience, a loader, simple loader, which is just one example, that's motion. And that's showing me that the machine is thinking. There's some sort of activity happening. So I am certain, it's all about certainty and control.
Right.
So the user loses a sense of control as soon as, the app starts doing something that's surprising or something like, surprising in a negative way, this kind of thing. So hiding latency it is a form of animation that helps the user understand that the machine is thinking, and it removes the burden of waiting. So that but then streamlining navigation. This one's a little bit more interesting, but when you can convey the different information spaces of the app, so the different screens of the app, if you give them a consistency in where they reside in the digital environment, then the user will have a spatial understanding of where the screens reside in the app. So it's kind of difficult to describe, but if I'm sitting in this room and then I blink and I'm in a Starbucks, then that's nice, but where is that Starbucks in relation to where I was earlier? Because if I know where that Starbucks is in relation to where my initial position was, I can streamline the navigation between those 2 points. If I'm sitting here and then I stand up and I walk to Starbucks, now I know where Starbucks is in relation to this point here. So this is the spatial relationship design that only motion design can convey when we're, injecting this into an application. So that streamlines navigation, because if I know where the screen resides that I want, then I know where it resides. Right? So I can retrieve it whenever I want. So these are the things this is the value of motion, is removing uncertainty, hiding latency. We can improve discoverability, and we can streamline navigation. And all of this, what it comes down to is giving the user a sense of control over the application. Right. Because the applications, they are an extension of our bodies. It sounds crazy, but it's an extension of your consciousness. And instead of having to think about every single time you want to retrieve some bit of information, this is making it seamless. So I am actually accessing and manipulating information at the speed of thought. It's just like using your body. Like if I had to think about my hand every time I reach to this bottle of water, which I keep doing, um, it would not be fun. I would have to be like, I have no control. It's like, okay, this, I got to rotate the wrist and this and that. Motion is getting us closer to that idea of the software just basically, operating as an extension of your mind, right? So that's the importance of it. And, I could nerd out on this all day, but one thing I am working on right now is an essay and an article called Temporality in Human Computer Interaction. And really what it's about is the idea that motion is the homeostasis whenever you're navigating through a screen. So in biology, they teach you that like whenever there's anything going on in your body, like any form of stimulus, let's say you get scared of something, right? To get back down to where you were, to be calm again, that is the body becoming at equilibrium. It's coming back to equilibrium, right? Like you're always trying to stay in equilibrium. So that's in biology, they call that homeostasis. It's like you're always just kind of like at your default state. And then when something kind of happens, then you go back to it, equilibrium. This motion is a form of homeostasis because anytime you navigate or interact with the application, there is the opportunity, there is the risk of some type of disorientation. So anytime you're interacting with the application, you're at risk of some form of confusion, some form of disruption, some form of disorientation. Motion is the digital homeostasis.
Yep.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean that's a good explanation. And do you think like every business owner who has an app or a website need to have this?
Yes. Any, it doesn't matter if it's desktop or mobile or enterprise or public facing or in vehicle or wearable, it doesn't matter. Any interface that has a user interacting with it needs some form of time-based design.
Right.
You click a button and you wait, and then you go on to the next screen, that's an example of the application's working, right? Like it worked. I tapped a button and then I go to the next screen, but there was a second of delay, right? So how do we solve that, right? Because it was confused for a second. I clicked the button and then I didn't know if it was working and then it worked, right? But there's a second there, which is enough time to lose the sense of control and the flow state. So what do? We click the button and we make the press state show up, which is, for anyone that's unfamiliar, a press state is like if you click a button and the button turns to like a dark version of the button, just so you've clicked it. So let's say, okay, there's a press state. All right, well, how long does that press state stay in the press state after you've lifted your finger, right? If you go to any app like Uber or something like that, notice when you click the button, it stays clicked, even when you remove your finger. And then a second later, you go to the next screen. So that's a time-based design. That's a time-based decision because we said, keep the press state in the press state for this duration. Anytime we're manipulating duration, that's motion. It's not always flashy animations, which people do tend to think of.
Yeah, like effects.
Right. That's the misconception. It's really about the time-based nature of the sequence of information spaces that you experience.
It's like the response of the computer from what the user is doing.
Right.
Yeah, so it's all making sense to me now. Yeah, so
I'm very caffeinated. I'm rambling.
No, no. I mean, I love all your. I love everything that you said. The explanation, So where can people find you online?
Go to temprlux.com.
All right. I'm gonna include that in the show notes as well so they can visit your website. Thank you so much for your time today, Ali. I appreciate
Yeah,
it. So
yeah,
much
yeah.
learning.
Sure, sure. I love the conversation. Sorry for rambling. Jeez.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.